special day. It's a special day in First Take. Look at the crew that I got in front of me. Mike and the Mad Dog are in the house. This is on a day that Brady retired. We didn't know it was going to happen, but damn it, it happened. It don't matter. And when you talking about the greatest, who better to talk to than two of the greatest ever? You know it's special when Molly and myself are dressed alike. I mean, Lord have mercy. What is this world coming to? First Takes in the house, y'all. Let's get it on.
The GOAT edition of First Take. Breaking news. Tom Brady retires for good, capping a historic 23-year career. Brady, who's 45, announced his decision on social media, saying he wouldn't change a thing about his career. I'll play that for you in moments. A year ago today, he announced his retirement before changing his mind 40 days later, returning to play the past season with the Buccaneers, a winner of 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots, 1 with the Bucs. He ends his career as the NFL's all-time leader in passing yards and touchdown passes. The 3-time league MVP passed for nearly 4,700 yards this season, 3rd most in the NFL. Here's the GOAT, or as I like to call him, Teflon Tom.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. I think you only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much, to every single one of you, for supporting me, my family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
The ultimate teammate, the ultimate competitor, and even Adam Schefter, good morning, in an emotional moment, still a moment of levity, poking fun at his retirement last year. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Adam, what more can you tell us?
Well, very classy send-off from Tom Brady there, who retires February 1st, 2023, the same day that he announced his retirement 1 year ago. The difference is this time in that video, Tom Brady says it's quote-unquote for good, and I believe him, and I think others believe him, even though the idea will come up in the spring and the summer when some team needs a quarterback and Tom Brady wants to play football because he can still play. But his life is different right now. He's a single father. His children are on the East Coast. There could be opportunities on the West Coast, but it's tough to make all those things work when you're Tom Brady and you want to immerse yourself in the culture of a team. It doesn't work when you're doing that in Las Vegas or San Francisco or some of the places that he's been connected to in recent days. And he's tired right now, and he wants to recharge. And when you look back at his career, I think he knew that it was coming to this at this point in time. After the last loss, the Monday night playoff game to Tampa, we were riding back to the hotel, and we happened to be riding up in the elevator in the hotel with Tom Brady's parents. And as we were talking about Tom and what laid ahead, his father at that time said, well, if that's it, that was a hell of a run. And I think he knew at that point in time, he didn't want to lead on to anything, but I think they knew where this was all headed. And today it's reality. The greatest of all time announced his retirement again for good.
He gave us so much. Forever grateful. Adam, before I let you roll real quick, I just have to ask you this as a New York kid. I have Mike in the Mad Dog and Stephen A. in studio. Any advice for me moving forward?
You're in the company of royalty, Molly. Stephen A., one of the greatest to ever do it on TV. 2 of the guys that are founding fathers of sports talk radio. I mean, listen, you're in a great spot today. You're with Hall of Famers to talk about a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'll hand it back to you.
Adam, thank you so much. You're the best. From one legend to a couple others.
Makes me sick.
They're gassing you up,
I know
Mike.
I'm getting it in the back today.
Oh, my God.
I feel like,
get assassinated
Mike,
the other
I
day. I
feel
know
like
that.
they're just
Come
they're
on.
building you up to break you down right now.
This is too much sweetness for me.
I say the same thing, kissing
please.
our rear end, especially you.
Well, listen, first of all, it is an honor and a privilege to have you both on this show. I sincerely mean it. All right. I'm so happy to have y'all both. I am honored. I grew up listening to y'all. But the other thing that's important to know for the audience to know, It's going to be a special day to hear Mike Francesa religiously say, Doggy, I got to go with Stephen A. He's right about this.
I hope that doesn't happen often.
No, I won't allow it to. Well,
Let's
you and
go.
I are going to attack him today.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Great to
I
have
wish
you both.
Brady would have picked another day, though.
Yeah, I know. Geez.
Who needs
No,
Brady today? He can have any day he wants.
Listen, Mike, he wanted in on the fun, all right? He wanted to be a part of this. Let's start with you here, Stephen A.
Yes.
How will Tom Brady be remembered?
Well, I think that the obvious is that he'll be remembered as the greatest ever. But when you talk about him, you don't just talk about him as a football player. You talk about him as a leader. You talk about teammates who loved playing with him. You talk about contemporaries and competitors who revered him and they didn't hesitate to show it. We understand all of that. And then I think the greatest thing to bring up, I think that for me personally, him departing from Bill Belichick, guys, from Bill Belichick, I think goes a long way because I don't believe that Tom Brady would have ever been satisfied if he had ended his career in New England playing under Bill Belichick. There was something. It was similar to Kobe needing to separate from Shaq to some degree. Now, obviously it's player. In this case, it's coach-player. But I think Tom Brady desperately needed to do that, and it was easier for him to make this decision.
I think that's an excellent point, and he won a championship to boot. Two things, Mike, about this. One, I didn't see it earlier. That's a great Instagram thing he posted. Saw a little emotion. I know last year I screwed you up by coming back. So I like the fact that that was a very good minute.
Well done.
Excellent. That's the first thing. Second thing, I keep on thinking about Brady? What? He probably knew he was going to quit. It's 31-7 against Dallas. They're awful. And he's out there with 4 minutes to go, directing traffic, playing his rear end off. In the last 4 minutes of a blowout, he was annoyed. He dropped a pass. He's got a guy in this motion. You go over there. He played that game to the bitter end when he probably knew he was going to quit and they were getting blown out.
Tom Brady made himself great. He wasn't great. He wasn't great in college. He lost his job, which is what fueled him his whole life. He's the most competitive person anybody's ever met. And he worked harder than anybody ever to be this good. He made himself this good. He didn't start out that way. He was drafted late. He had a terrible body. It took him time to do it. Now, I'm going to throw a little, oil on the ceremony.
Okay.
He's not the best regular season quarterback I've ever seen. Peyton Manning was. What? He's not the best Super Bowl quarterback who ever lived. Joe Montana is. What he is, though, is the guy who played the longest, and he won the most games. He won the most Super Bowls, so he will be remembered because nobody's going to play 23 years, and nobody's probably ever going to have a chance to win that many Super Bowls. It's almost impossible to do. He was in the right place with the right coach, and he was that competitive. But let me say this. In the Super Bowl, just take the Super Bowl performances, nobody ever has competed on the level Joe Montana competed on, not even close. And in the regular season, I watch every game in the regular season. The best down-to-down, Sunday-to-Sunday quarterback I've ever seen regular season was Peyton Manning.
I have to say this to you, Mike Francesa. Let me tell you something right now. Initially, when you said that, I was going to say, what blasphemous rhetoric is coming out of this man's mouth? But as I think about it, I'm like this. He's right.
He's 100%.
He wasn't the greatest regular season quarterback, and he wasn't the greatest
Peyton
Super Bowl
Manning
quarterback. So here's my question to you. My question to you is this. Do you have any issue with Tom Brady being recognized as the greatest ever based on what you just said about the regular season and Super Bowl performance?
No, because longevity matters, and that means records, and winning all those Super Bowls matters because that's how we keep score. But if you ask me, you have one game to win. I'm picking Joe Montana. Joe Montana's Super Bowl quarterback rating was 127.8. Brady's was in the 90s. Brady was great in the Super Bowl, but let's be honest. He got a lot of breaks in the Super Bowl, too. Montana never made a mistake in the Super Bowl, never threw an interception, and he never lost. I thought he was the best Super Bowl quarterback. I thought Manning was the best, but when you add it all up, and you add in all the games and all the years, and you're going to have 23 years and 7 Super Bowls, nobody's going to surpass him.
Yeah, I think Mike hit it right in the head. And him and I used to fight about Peyton Manning all the time because I don't think Manning as his great as
He was
Mike
a bad postseason quarterback.
Not great.
But he was
like
a great regular season quarterback.
He was. We fought like Pippen, crazy with Pippen. We used to fight these things because I think Manning is a little overrated historically because in the playoffs he wasn't nearly as good as he was in the regular season.
He was a bad playoff quarterback.
Not as good. Not as good.
Was he bad?
Yes.
Or did he not measure up to Tom Brady?
No, he was bad because he didn't even play to the level he played in the regular season. And I want a guy to play at the same level or higher in the postseason, and he didn't even play to his regular season performance.
That's why this is special. See, I love him already. See, this is special right here. Because when you say stuff like this, see, if I said this stuff, why are you hating? Why? That means what's wrong with Steve?
Better than you.
This is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
He's better than you.
I understand. I don't mind. I don't mind being deferential to greatness.
I'm going to get in the back during the show. I'm telling you right now.
How many times have I had to tell you, just because others are greater, don't mean I ain't great. But we can continue, Molly. Go ahead.
Hey, this is the best dress show I've seen in a long time.
That's easy. That's easy.
What, we have a wedding at 10 o'clock? I mean, what the heck is going on here? Either a wedding or a funeral, one or the other.
That's a standard that we have here on First Take.
Look at the clothes.
Very good.
Go ahead.
The Brady, he's 46. It's funny. Last year, I thought he should have quit because he was coming off that great game, great season. He played well against the Rams.
Yeah.
And he came back on Selection Sunday. I said, geez, really? Tom, you had to finish off great. And this year, I actually think, with San Francisco in the mix, a better team, he may have been better off not to quit. If you look at it just from a football perspective, because you're telling me right now, if he was going to play next year, that San Francisco would not be interested?
I think San Francisco would have been a great place for him because they have everything. They have the interior structure on the line to protect him. He has to be protected to play, but he was pushing the envelope because at that age, if you take a bad hit, it could be really detrimental to the rest of your life. So I think he toyed with it. I think he was as competitive. The people I know around that team told me this was the most, he didn't even like to come out and practice. He didn't like anybody to touch his job. He didn't want anybody to go in for him. He was that competitive.